All right, this is the Chapter 2 review. Test will be tomorrow. First one, make a conjecture based on the information that AB bisects XY at Z. For these kinds of problems, I like to just do a quick sketch so I understand what they're saying. So it's a segment and a segment. It's not an angle, right? So I have AB, segment AB, and it bisects. That means it cuts it in half. Bisects XY. Let's call this XY. So AB is bisecting XY at point Z.
Did Hannah Brown borrow this from you?
Hannah Brown?
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
No? Okay. If you want your workbook to study from tonight, come by and get it.
Okay, so if I know this is true, I know this is equal to this. No, I don't know that. It bisects XY. So I know XZ and YZ are equal. This one. Because AB could have looked like this. This segment is what bisects XY. So XY is what's bisected. AB is not. Okay? So it's got to be XZ is equal to YZ. Okay, if n is a real number, then n is greater than or equal to n. Which of the following would be a counterexample? What's a counterexample mean? If someone told me this was always true, I'm looking for one of these to prove that it's not. That's a counterexample. So which one of these choices proves that what they told me is not true? Okay, so if I put 0 in for n, is 0 greater than or equal to 0? Yes, because it's got the or equal. So that one's not going to be a counterexample. 5 greater than 5, 10 greater than 10. How about negative 2 greater than or equal to 2? Because the absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. So letter A is your counterexample. If P is false and Q is true, what's the value of P or Q? What are the rules? If it's an and, what has to be true for the truth value to be true? Both of them. Good. If it's an or, what has to be true? Either one. So if P is false and Q is true, one of the two is true. Therefore, the truth value of P or Q is also true. Okay? Use the truth table below to answer the following questions. What would be the values in the P and Q column? Well, if it's and, the only one that's true is where both are true. Okay, so it's got to be true, false, false, false. In the P or Q, well, as long as one of them is true, the truth value is true. But the last one, both are false. So true, 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 false. Letter D. Make sense? Identify the conclusion of the statement, Sue will watch the Rose Bowl if today is January 1st. What's the conclusion? Sue will watch the Rose Bowl if today is January 1st. We have to identify the hypothesis and the conclusion, and they want the conclusion. What's the conclusion here? Sue will watch the Rose Bowl. The hypothesis always follows the word if. It doesn't have to be in it doesn't have to be in an order where the hypothesis is first. It always follows the word if. So P, or the hypothesis, is today is January 1st because it follows the word if. The conclusion, if today is January 1st, then Sue will watch the Rose Bowl. Sue will watch the Rose Bowl is the conclusion here. Okay, so just because it's first doesn't mean it can't be the conclusion. You're looking for the if. Hypothesis always follows the word if. So Sue will watch the Rose Bowl is the conclusion. Identify the inverse of the following statement. What's the inverse? You have the original statement, you have the converse, the inverse, the contrapositive. What's the inverse? She said flipped.
Yeah.
You think it's flipped? What do you think the inverse is? Do you know? You don't know what the inverse is? Does it go statement, converse, inverse, contrapositive? Isn't the inverse when they're both not? The converse is when they flip,
Inverse is when they stay the same.
but they're both not.
So C.
Yep. So if I wanted to find the inverse, if x equals 5, then x plus 8 equals 13. The inverse would be if x is not equal to 5, then x plus 8 is not equal to 13.
So C.
Yes. The converse would be if x plus 8 equals 13, then x equals 5. And the contrapositive, you flip them both and make them both not. So it would be if x plus 8 is not equal to 13, then x is not equal to 5.
So C would be
The contrapositive. This is the original statement, and this is the converse. Identify the contrapositive. So if x plus 8 is not equal to 13, then x is not equal to 5. Flip them, make them both negative. What law can be used to determine that the conclusion is valid based on the given statements? All dogs like biscuits. Sammy is a dog. Therefore, Sammy likes biscuits. So how could I write this statement as an if-then? You want to close that up for me? I don't feel like I'm being listened to. I like to be listened to. How could I rewrite the all dogs like biscuits as an if-then statement?
if you were a dog, you would.
Okay. I could say if an animal is a dog, but I like you because I like to pretend I'm a dog, I guess. If you are a dog, then you like biscuits. Okay. What's P? The hypothesis. You are a dog. Just you are a dog. You don't put the if in there. So P is here, and you like biscuits is Q. Okay? So I'm saying if P, then Q, right? Sammy is a dog. So do they give me P or do they give me Q? P. Therefore, Sammy likes biscuits.
So it's a lot of
Law of detachment. Okay, sometimes it helps to rewrite it as an if-then statement so you can really see what's happening. But the law of detachment says if I tell you if P then Q, and then I tell you P happened, you can conclude Q happens. Okay, remember it doesn't work if I said if you are a dog then you like biscuits, and then I tell you you like biscuits. You cannot conclude you're a dog. Okay? You have to be given P to conclude Q. But that is the law of detachment. A way to remember syllogism, you're always going to have more than one if-then statement if it's the law of syllogism, because it's got to be if this, then that, if that, then this, therefore if this, then this. So you've got to have two if-then statements for the law of syllogism to happen. This one only has one if-then. Okay? So let's see what this one is. All sparrows fly. Well, how could I rewrite that statement as an if-then? No, just the all sparrows fly. I want to rewrite that as an if-then statement.
If you were a sparrow,
Yes, if you are a sparrow, then you can fly. Okay? So I've got a P then Q statement. If you are a sparrow, then you can fly. How about this one? If you are a robin, then you can fly. And so then they conclude that all sparrows are robins. Well, remember with the law of syllogism, I do have two if-then statements, but the law of syllogism has to go if P then Q, if Q then R, the hypothesis of the second has to be the conclusion of the first. So for this to be true, I would have had to say, if you are a sparrow, then you can fly. If you can fly, then you're a robin. All sparrows are robins. I could make that conclusion. But what they gave me was, if you are a sparrow, then you can fly. If you are a robin, then you can fly. So these two did not match up. They were not the same. Does that make sense? The conclusion here was Q, you can fly. The hypothesis here has to be you can fly for the law of syllogism to work. Okay? So there is no conclusion you can draw from this statement. Okay? Which best describes the statement? If 2 points lie in a plane, then the entire line containing those planes is lies in that plane. If 2 points lie in a plane, then the entire line containing those points lies in that plane. Is it always true, sometimes true, never true, or cannot tell? Always true. If 2 points lie in a plane, so if I have these 2 points sitting on a piece of paper, and that paper goes on forever, and this line goes on forever, that whole line will be contained in that plane going on forever. So that's always true. I can't think of a counterexample, one that wouldn't be true. Which of the following is an essential part of a good proof? Step 1. It's always step 1. Listing the given information. Choose the property that justifies the following statement. If x equals y and y equals z, then x equals z. What property is that? Transitive property. Transitive property, law of syllogism are very similar. Okay? What's the reflexive property? X is equal to itself. Symmetric. If x equals y, then y equals x. Just flips. Conditional property. They just threw that in because they needed a fourth choice. Doesn't exist. Choose the property that justifies the following statement. If 3ab equals cd, then ab equals 1/3 cd. No. What did I do to get to? What did I do to get ab by itself?
Oh my gosh,
Divided.
Sorry.
Division.
I thought you were nodding for a second. I was like,
Choose the property that justifies the following statement. Segment GH is congruent to segment FD, and segment FD is congruent to CB. Symmetric property. This is what I wrote here, right? I just switched the order.
there's so many letters.
Oh wait, no, that's not right. I didn't read far enough. If GH is congruent to FD and FD is congruent to CB, then GH is congruent to CB. That's the transitive property. Transitive, you've got two statements that you can make a third out of. Okay, on a line, if x, y equals 6, yz equals 8, and xz equals 2, well, z must be over here then, for yz equal to 8.
Are you just done yet?
Let me try this again. So who can tell me how to graph this? How to sketch it? Someone talk me through it. I just did it, so.
So you draw one.
Okay.
It says x and y. And that's 6. And then from y, you do another point to the right
To the right.
as z
Okay.
is 8.
Y to z is 8.
And so x to z is -2. Or what? Oh, z is in the middle,
Z's in the middle. Okay.
right?
So you want z to be here?
Wait.
It's not right.
Oh, I see.
Where should I put Z?
On the left.
Other side.
There we go.
It is 8.
Because XZ is 2, and then XY is 8.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Draw something like this out. Don't just try and put it in your mind. And
Obviously.
yeah, it doesn't work. So draw it out, resketch it until it makes sense, and then answer the question. Which point is between the other two?
X.
X. Okay. Find angle AFE if BFC is 55. BFC. So this is 55. And I want to find AFE, this angle.
So 90 plus 55 and subtract that from 90.
Okay? Could do that.
Is there an easier way?
But that's okay. If you get this the right answer, it doesn't matter what the way it was that you chose. It was the right way. Okay? So you said add 90 to 55.
Or
So 145.
the vertical angle
Okay?
is 55 right there. So
Yep.
55 minus, 90 minus 55.
That's the faster way. Yep. So 35. Either way, you would have gotten 35. It's always nice to find the fast way, though. If angle 1 is 3x plus 15, angle 2 is 6x plus 3, how can I find x? What do we know about angle 1 and angle 2? They're the same. So I just set those two equal to each other and solve. 3x equals 12. X is 4. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Use the figures below to answer the following questions. If ABC is 34, find CBD. Yeah. Because it's a 90-degree angle, right angle. So just subtract from 90. If ABC is congruent to EFG and ABC is 41, find GFH. Yeah, because 49 and 41 are complementary. And EFG then would be 41, so GFH must be 49. Okay? The last one, the bonus, actually was Venn diagrams, which we haven't even done, so that's why it's a bonus. But you guys have seen Venn diagrams before, right? No? Circles. So I've got two circles. 22 students were asked about drink preferences. 12 liked grape juice. This is grape juice. And 12 liked grape juice. 10 liked both. So this is 10. Altogether, 12 liked grape juice. So how many is outside of this intersection? 2. So how many must have liked or not liked either? So I need to figure out what this number is. 22 students were asked.
I thought it was 15, sorry.
Yeah, there's like something. They like use
No, is that right? 10?
10 plus 10 plus 2.
12. Total of 10. A total of 10 then liked. How many did not like either?
Oh.
Oh, I've got to fill in this. Sorry. 15 liked orange juice. That would help.
Yeah, I was like, there's
Jeez,
something
I'm like, something's missing. 15 liked orange juice. So what's in this one?
15.
Nope, there's 10 already there.
5.
Yeah. Right, because there's 10 that liked both. So I have 10, a total of 17. So how many didn't like either?
I can't do it.
22 minus 17 is 5.
Oh, I was thinking 27.
5.
Thanks.
5 didn't like either?
Yep. Because I've got 17 represented in my Venn. So there's still 22 students represented, so 5 must not have liked either. Okay?
Just for an apple juice.
Questions on this section? I would recommend that you study what inverse, converse, contrapositive is, that you know what and or means. That you-
Another bonus to do.
On this one? No, because this is the review, so you're done with that. What else?
Can we work as teams again?
No. If-then statements, know the law of detachment, the law of syllogism, the law of contrapositive. Do you see how I didn't put a proof on the test?
What's a proof?
Like the hardest thing.
The ones we did the worksheet on that day? Yep, 2-column proofs.
That is what I thought.
This is not a good sign, Zave.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay?
Wait, you still don't know how to proof it?
What?
Do you still don't know how to proof it? Basic?
No,
Subtraction,
look up the
POE,
laws and
addition.
all that.
Oh, I was like, are you looking up